Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DJ Bondi here from What Say Radio. Appreciate y'all always tuning in, locking it in with me right here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the page, please. In this video, we're going to discuss Attorney General, that is, Pam Bondi, after the cabinet meeting, the first cabinet meeting with the Trump administration. She went on Fox last night to announce that today she would be releasing some of the or all of the Epstein file, Jeffrey Epstein, of course. And so it was a highly anticipated day. Um, we haven't heard anything major other than what she announced yesterday. And so just about an hour ago, they came out with a release of some of the information from the files, the Epstein files. However, it's kind of, in my opinion, a little disappointing because they're not really revealing any new information. There was information that was leaked unofficially from the FBI files that were already available to the public, even though they weren't official. So a lot of the information they released today is pretty much information that was released unofficially. So it's just official now that it's out there. And so there's a possibility, a lot of people in the media are kind of disappointed as well. And so there's talk of more information, more files forthcoming in the near future. I think Attorney General uh, Pam Bondi has requested that the FBI turn over all the files and make them available to the public because this is what President Trump has wanted. He's wanted transparency in his under his administration with the people, and so if you remember, he had the JFK files, the MAK files that he wanted released as well or declassified so that they would be available to the public. So he's trying to stick with his word. But here's the latest update on the Jeffrey Epstein files. Take a listen.
Sue live now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. We do have some breaking news to report. Remember, this has been discussed throughout the course of the last few days. The Epstein files, or the Epstein list, regarding the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Well, we're hearing from Attorney General Pam Bondi there at the Department of Justice. She just issued this press release releasing some of these files, some of these pieces of evidence, some of these call logs, some of these flight logs, many of which are largely out there in the public domain. And we're going to go over some of them. We have been for the last couple of minutes. This is just breaking here. So this is what we know. I'm reading from the statement put out by Attorney General Bondi. She says this today, in conjunction with the FBI, declassified and publicly released files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his sexual exploitation of over 250 underage girls at his homes in New York and Florida, among other locations, has been released. The first phase of declassified files largely contains documents that have been previously leaked but never released in a formal capacity by the U.S. government. So the DOJ acknowledging there in this statement that many of these files that were released today officially are already out there. They go on to say this, that, quote, this Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators. Pam Bondi went on to say the first phase of files released today sheds light on Epstein's extensive network and begins to provide the public with long overdue accountability. And so we're also hearing from FBI Director Kash Patel. I want to put this statement up. He says this. That's Pam Bondi. Patel saying this, that the FBI is entering a new era, one that will be defined by integrity, accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. Patel says there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned. And anyone from the prior or current Bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. He says if there are gaps, we will find them. He says if records have been hidden, we will uncover them. And we will bring everything we find to the DOJ to be fully assessed and transparently disseminated to the American people as it should be. He says the oath we take is to the Constitution. And under my leadership, that promise will be upheld without compromise. So, like I said, released today officially by the DOJ, an evidence list, flight logs, an Epstein contact book, which is redacted, and a masseuse list, which is redacted there. And so remember, just last night, Pam Bondi was on Jesse Waters' primetime, and she told Fox News last night she planned to release a lot of names and flight logs today and warned that the contents of the files overall are, quote, pretty sick. In that very same interview, she revealed there were more than 250 alleged victims in Epstein's trafficking ring and that their identities would be protected in any release of documents on the case. And that
I absolutely agree with that. The 250 victims underage, that's sick, that's gross. Um, that is a good thing that they are protecting them and not releasing any of their names. However, I'm sure just as uh, everyone in the media is waiting on those high profile names that associated with Jeffrey Epstein on this. And I'm not going to mention any alleged names. I'm going to wait till the facts come out. But we've all heard of a few names that have been thrown out there as possibilities in connection with Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, just have to reiterate this point. Many of the documents were already released during Ghislaine Maxwell's federal criminal trial. Remember, that landed her in prison for decades. She got 20 years in that case. These include flight logs, an evidence list, a contact book, and a masseuse list believed to refer to Epstein's victims. Now, Epstein was 66 when he died in a jail cell back in 2019 in New York while awaiting trial. Remember, on those federal trafficking charges, his potential client list has long been an item of public interest, though some reporters who have covered this story have cited the Epstein list as a figment of many's imaginations. Some conclude that that list per se does not exist. And so this is why we're covering this story here. And so we'll just have to wait and see whether or not any more is released over the coming days.
Yeah, that's all we can
And
do
so
is wait.
remember, this is somewhat embroiling elements of President Trump's inner circle and many of his supporters and acolytes on social media. Many of them are somewhat internally feuding over why this was seemingly delayed. We were told this was going to be released earlier today, and now that it has been released, much of it, remember, almost all of it, has been publicly available for some time here on Live Now. We have been covering this story. We did segments on it when those names, when those logs were released last year. Now, conservative political commentators responded at the White House just today. Live picture there at the White House. And many of them were holding binders that read, quote, the Epstein files, hours after Pam Bondi promised the release of documents about Epstein. Now, it was not immediately clear what was in those binders. Those binders have not been released publicly by the DOJ. We just reported what was released by the DOJ just now. And so the binders read, quote, declassified, but it was not immediately clear whether the information contained in the binders had ever been classified. Now, among those holding the binders was the political commentator Rogan O'Hanley online. He's known as DC Drano. And so some of these House GOP members, like Anna Paulina Luna, the Republican from Florida, said this online before this was released today. She says, I nor the task force were given a review the Epstein documents being released today. She says the New York Post story just revealed the documents will simply be Epstein's phone book. She says, in all caps, this is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment. And so you can see there, Anna Paulina Luna not entirely pleased with how this was handled, as are some of these other supporters, acolytes, and allies of the president, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She says this: the Epstein list is going to be released and much more is coming. She says there's currently a war raging within. She says the resistance within will be beaten and the truth will be revealed. She says, I'm so proud of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. She says, both warriors. We do have some reporting, though, on kind of the nature of some of these internal disagreements. And that's Julie K. Brown. She kind of broke this all open for the Miami Herald. She says this: that those involved in the Jeffrey Epstein case for 2 decades fear that the case and Epstein's victims are being used for political purposes. Lawyer Spencer Cooven, who has worked on the case since 2005, representing scores of victims, said, quote, "This isn't a news story. It's a publicity stunt." We also have reporting from Jackie Heinrich and David Spunt there at Fox News, if we can put some of that up as well. Jackie Heinrich obtaining this, a letter Pam Bondi sent Kash Patel, Bondi saying that the FBI withheld information on the Epstein files, which are currently held at the FBI New York City field office. Bondi wants it delivered to the DOJ tomorrow, but it must go through many different levels for the protection of victims before being released. David Spunt obtained that letter. We also have some reporting in Bill Malugin citing David Spunt's reporting, saying federal sources telling David Spunt that the DOJ will post phase one of the Epstein files online later today. What's going to be released has already largely been seen in the public domain prior to today. And David Spunt is told there are no major surprises in this first batch. We just brought you that first batch here, and I have the statement in front of me. We're still kind of pouring over some of this here. I just want to read from more of the statement put out by Pam Bondi just today. And she goes on to say this, that she requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. She says, in response, the department received approximately 200 pages of documents. However, the Attorney General was later informed of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and indictment of Epstein that were not previously disclosed. She says the Attorney General has requested the FBI deliver the remaining documents to the department by 8 a.m. on February 28th, tomorrow, and has tasked FBI Director Kash Patel with investigating why the request for all documents was not followed.
Right. So it sounds like there's confusion within the DOJ, as you know, it was reported that Pam Bondi, Attorney General, had the full Jeffrey Epstein files. Like she had all the files sitting on her desk, and she was going to release all the files today. But from what they're saying, there is she only had 200 some pages of 1,000 plus pages that she should have had. So it just seems like a gaffe here. A mix up and a bunch of confusion because we, the people, were expecting to hear the complete story, see the files, see the names released today. And so now it's like, she didn't actually have all the files on her desk. They weren't all in her possession. She didn't have all the facts or all the information from the investigation that was going on. Neither here nor there. Again, what was released today was nothing new that wasn't released unofficially last year. So we learned nothing new today. So hopefully, she's sticking with her word to put the press on for her to get the other information, those other 800 to 900 some pages of information to be released to the public. We'll see how that goes. Let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section. Give me some feedback. I will keep you updated on this story as more details come in. I appreciate y'all always tuning in with DJ Modi right here on What You Say Radio. Like, subscribe, share the page, share the channel, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace. I'm out. What you say?